Well, absolutely no idea what I did, but these just literally fell straight off my face. So the arm just decided to shear off. That little nub in there, I'm going to try and glue back in, but it's snapped from the long bar that goes into the arm. There's the screw for it. And that bar goes all the way along, but it's snapped. So I'm just going to try and glue it back into that hole for the moment. Apparently, they no longer make these frames. Rich went down to try and get it repaired. They no longer make them, so they can't repair it. And they can't replace them either. So I'm allowed to have a pair up to £100 when they'll include the lenses. But I've got to pay a £25 excess, so I'll pay the 25 quid and then I can pick frames up to 100 quid. So we'll see what options they have. But I'm going to try and fix these temporarily, even if it's just as a work pair. But better I try and fix them than spend a day with a headache. So. Morning. Just on our way to work. Just come out to replant sweet corn because the bastard fox or badger has dug them all up. So that's fun. So they're probably now going to produce nothing because they've been dug up. Anyway, on the plus side, I discovered this lovely big melon growing. So I'm very happy with that. So that's a nice turn up because the ones in the greenhouse aren't really doing much. I don't think they were completely pollinated. They seem to have all grown on one side and not the other. But that's a nice turn up to find that. Right, let's get to work. So we couldn't get in where we went to work. So we got off. So we've come to mow the in-laws' lawns and cut their hedges. But before we do that, we've got a client to see about a pond. So it's possibly removing the whole thing, save as much water and stuff as possible, and then re-dig it further away from the tree roots that have been interfering with the liner. At least that's the plan. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It does seem a shame to waste these apples, but none of us are going to eat them. They've got so heavy, they've snapped, well, bent some branches at least. But there's so many good apples. I mean, like I said, we're not going to eat them. Plenty of windfall if anyone wants to make some scrumpy. But yeah, there's a hell of a load of branches that have snapped, or bent at least. Going to need to give this tree a good hard prune this winter. But look at it. Usually we can get the mower down under here, so these have really bent quite badly. That's neglect on our part, unfortunately. But it's a real bumper crop. So if anyone wants them, they're in Merley. Just get in touch with me and I'll let you in and you can harvest as much as you want. Ugh, look at the state of this front garden. It's like the front of a greengrocer's, that's horrible. So I've put right the damage from either foxy or badger and had a bit of a tidy up earlier. So I'll turn the camera around, show you the melon that I discovered that I didn't know I had, and show you what happened to the courgette as well. So here's the melon. Really pleased with that. It's quite a big one. And then I'll show you in a second what the difference is between the ones in the greenhouse. This is my courgette that was doing really well, had loads more coming on it. There's a few leaves that are still have perked up a bit, but I think it got chewed on down at this end. It's feeling a bit damaged and a bit squished. I'm not really sure what's happening. I might lose this whole thing. See how I've given it a good water. See how it perks up by tomorrow, and then snip off any leaves that haven't perked up. There's some that have been damaged. Again, look, it looks like it's been chewed on. I wonder if the fox has decided that was good for chewing on. Anyway, see what comes of that. Luckily he's not dug up where the melon's planted, because the melon's really happy out here. Seems to like being in this soil. Checked over the cabbages for caterpillars and butterfly eggs. And I'll just go in. There's all the sweet corn repaired. Not that I think it's going to come to anything. I was a bit late with it because I wasn't going to do sweet corn anyway. Loads of fruit coming on my tomatillo. Relation to physalis, Chinese lanterns, except they're green and not sweet. So the melons in here, we'll look at them. They look fine on one side, and then there's a whole flat side, and the ridges haven't developed very wide. It's almost like half of it's not been pollinated, if that's even a thing. This one's the same. I don't know if it's deformed. I mean, they're just not. I don't know what I've ended up with, but I think I've just bought crap soil. It's a 50-50 mix of soil from Hilliers, their own brand, multi-purpose, mixed with 50% well-rotted manure. And the company I get the manure from is local, and I've never had a problem. But this year, it's just made everything a bit anemic. It all started off well. See, the chili peppers, the new leaves are coming through quite green, but everything else is just a bit yellow and a bit, it's not very happy. The chilies seem happier since I started bottom watering them. I don't water them from the top. Tomatoes are just a bit blah. Everything's a bit sad and pathetic, and I think it's got to be the compost in here, because there's none of that on the veg patch. There's just the well-rotted manure. So this has got to be the compost from Hilliers. I can't think of any other reason. Yeah, it's weird. I have started off, a week ago, I started off some new cucumbers to see if I can get a late crop on these, because they are in the greenhouse. So I've put them in. We'll see what comes of them, see if they get going, if they have the same problem. Anyway, yeah, anyone else notice this sort of thing on melons? I just thought it was a bit weird, because like I said, one side is really well formed and quite fat, and just almost feels like half the flower's not been pollinated. Anyway, get in touch if you've had anything similar happen. Much appreciate it. Right, so finally on this one, you see the top bars have rotted out. That's sagging there and rotted. And the trellis work on top's starting to rot and fall apart as well. But there's a new fence behind here, so what we're going to do is try and save as much of this as possible. Cut out all of the trellis and put new posts in further back towards the fence. Don't know how successful we're going to be. We might end up losing quite a bit of this on top, but we'll see how we go. It's a bit of a weird job. Right, so big pieces of trellis came down. We didn't have to dismantle it completely because we had a bit of a rethink. We've saved about 7 foot of the honeysuckle and the same that end, but loads of the rose is up high, so as the new structure goes in, that'll get tied in, and by September that'll have some growth on it, and by next summer it'll have grown back completely to where it was. But we just couldn't make this work. There was no way. Our plan was originally we were going to lift the roof structure with all the weight of the plants on it and drop it back down into a new structure, but there's just no working space to do that. So we've had to cut it back hard, but the client has said they don't mind the honeysuckle being cut back hard because within 18 months it grows back anyway. I think I might have to leave this post here, which is kind of clad in ivy, cut the trellis out of it and leave what's growing here and tie that into the new structure. There's going to be a new post going back in behind it anyway, closer to the fence line. Just got to strip all this out tomorrow. There we go. So new road, new posts going in behind. This big fat rose will get tied to that, and then a new roof structure will come across the top, tie into some new posts here, tie into the top of this, running along, and a new post on that end as well. So yeah, a lot to do tomorrow, a bit more waste to get rid of, but that's it for the day. Rich is just cutting a yew hedge at the front of the property so we don't have to bring the hedge trimmer tomorrow. Not bad for a day. It does look quite drastic, but I think it's needed to be in order for us to get in and build a proper structure, which hopefully will start tomorrow. Good morning. So we've pruned back and left a framework of plants, main stems that we can tie back into a new structure. I've decided this post can stay because there's so much honeysuckle on it and we'll lose any growth this end of the arbour. So I've decided this can stay, so I've pruned it back into a nice shape, cut the trellis back, and we'll just cut this post off here, and this will stay as a structure in its own right, and the new roof will go over the top of it. But yeah, so we've got a whole load of Tracheospermum that can be tied back into the fence line when the new structure goes in. So a euonymus, a variegated euonymus that can go back in as well. The big rose, which is enormous, and all of that growth up there. And then some more honeysuckle at this end as well. I'm going to save all this and tie this back in too. So we'll selectively probably prune more out of this to make it a bit tidier once we get the new structure in. I'm just going to go get rid of all the green waste now and be back for all this wood, all this old trellis structure. And from there, we might be able to start digging some posts today as well, or digging some post holes today, ready for Monday to start putting the new structure up. We're just debating whether or not we have the wooden rafters stick out and be notched into the top of the fake ruin, the wall. It might, I don't know if it'll defy the point of the tunnel, whether the tunnel's supposed to be hidden behind the ruin and you sort of discover it, or if the wooden rafters sticking over the top might look like part of an old structure. Yeah, we'll have to have a play with it, see if we can find some images to show the client. Anyway, off to get rid of a truckload of green waste.
As long as there's a space for it, yeah. I don't know what to do.
Apparently. You know, it's a lot to keep straight, but the heart wants what the heart wants.
Well, when your heart wants what's under this sack, you know where to find me.
Bye, babe. I call her that, too.
You know, I might be able to help you out there. I know a thing or two about affairs.
Oh, do you? Well, that's news to me.
Well, I don't know from experience, obviously, but I watch a lot of soap operas.
Right, you know about cheating from your soaps.
So I can coach you.
Well, that's just about the best thing I've ever